If you knew what the movement of this bone did, you would never be still. There are people who spend their entire lives aligning their spirit with their dead body. You can repeat mantras, read any book, surround yourself with crystals and silence. But as long as this port of your body is still, your reality remains closed to the same frequency. You feel disconnected, anxious, stuck. But the problem isn't what you think, it's what you don't move. Deep within your body lies a bone. It contains an ancient pulse, a vibrational memory so deeply embedded that most people never dare touch it. And that's exactly why nothing changes. Because you're trying to awaken your energy while keeping the doors closed. This bone has been ignored for generations. Yet in ancient traditions, it was the starting point of every true transformation. A vibrational portal hidden within the body. Today you will discover 5 precise movements, straightforward, ancient, powerful. Every gesture awakens a frequency. Every pulse releases a blockage. This isn't theory, it's physics. It's encrypted, and it's closer than you think, right in your spine, where everything you feel, vibrates, and manifests begins. Almost no one talks about it, because it doesn't sell, because it doesn't bring status, because it requires real presence, not just a mental presence. The sacrum is called the sacrum for a reason. It is sacred, not out of convention, but because it contains a code that no meditation, no mantra, no book can access. It is the first bone to form in the human liver, and the last to decay after death. Between beginning and end, it is what maintains the vibration of existence, yet most people continue to ignore it. Focus on opening the third eye, while keeping the base of the body cool and preventing any energy from rising. Today, you will understand why ancient traditions considered the sacrum an energetic throne. In Egypt, it was the invisible base of the pillar of Djed, a symbol of vibrational resurrection. For the Toltecs, it was the sound of consciousness, the point that beat the rhythm of presence. For the Hermetic masters, it was the hidden path of manifestation. And here lies the most surprising part. Science is beginning to confirm all this. Conscious pelvic movements activate the flow of cerebrospinal fluid. They stimulate the vagus nerve, balancing the limbic system and restoring blocked sensory perceptions. Isn't a good idea. It's real access. When you move your sacrum correctly, your body reacts noticeably. Your energy field vibrates differently. Reality adapts. 5 movements, 3 minutes a day. And its vibration is perceived by the universe as a command, not background noise. Before the mind was glorified as the seat of consciousness, the body was considered its original home. In many ancient traditions, gestures came before words. People didn't speak to the gods, they danced for them. Wisdom wasn't found in books. It was found in rhythm, in breathing, in the way the body inhabited space. Wisdom was embedded. We find compelling evidence in Stoic philosophy. True order comes not from without, but from inner mastery. Seneca taught that the body must be in harmony with the flow of nature, and that a simple gesture, performed with presence, can restore balance to the soul. For the Stoics, emotional stability began with breathing, with the path, with posture. It was a spirituality with the brain. Afro-diasporic cultures carry this understanding from their origins. The vibration begins on the ground. Spiritual power comes from the legs. The body is not a stage. It's an altar. These traditions didn't separate the sacred from the physical. They knew that the larger portals were not above the clouds, but beneath the nave. In Taoism, the chest is the microcosm. The lower dantian, located precisely in the sacrum area, is the starting point of inner alchemy. This is where the life breath is born. Here, swift energy transforms into refined consciousness. This wisdom wasn't forgotten because it was worthless. It was silenced by a world that discredits everything that can't be explained logically. But it still lives in the body, in those who still walk, in those who still hear the gesture before the thought. For a long time, the idea that a simple movement could alter states of consciousness was considered mysticism or madness. But today, science is beginning to connect it to what the ancients already knew about the body. Recent research in somatic neuroscience shows that sacral movements directly influence the flow of cerebrospinal fluid. a vital fluid that circulates between the brain and spinal cord. When the sacrum moves purposefully and rhythmically, this fluid is drawn upward, stimulating areas associated with perception, intuition, and emotional balance. This pulse also influences the vagus nerve, one of the most important communication channels between the body and brain. Consciously stimulating the vagus nerve lowers cortisol levels, regulates heart rate, and activates states of deep presence. In other words, by changing your core, you change your internal chemistry and thus your external vibration. Joe Dispenza has shown that body-based exercises synchronized with intention can induce advanced neurochemical states, activate the pineal gland, and reorganize mental patterns. Somatic neuroscience, for example, through Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen, reinforces this perspective. The body stores cellular memories, and movement is the key to awakening them. What once seemed like a simple, tribal gesture is actually a neurological code, a movement that can unlock consciousness through biological pathways. Movement is not just physical. It is chemical, electrical, vibratory, and scientific. Even if it's not called spirituality, it means the same thing. The first exercise is simple, but contains ancient intelligence. It activates the basic energy flow and prepares the body to receive more subtle, vibrational instructions. Step 1, horizontal 8. Stand with your feet slightly apart, toes in line with your legs. With your feet, form the shape of a horizontal 8, a horizontal infinity. Don't overthink it. Feel the curve. Let your body show you the rhythm. This gesture releases the stagnation bosses stored in your chest and head. Combining this exercise with deep breathing creates a kind of energy loop that reorganizes your vibrational base. Practice this for 2 minutes in silence with your eyes closed. Notice how the tension gradually dissolves and your mind returns to the sensations. Here the body ceases to be inert matter and becomes a pulsating field again. Step 2, the vertical pelvic wave. Leave your feet where they are and focus your attention on letting them sink slowly. Back and forth, moving like a wave, rising and falling. There is no tension, only flow. This movement activates the sacral tupineal axis. By moving the base of your spine in this vertical rhythm, you direct cerebrospinal fluid upward toward the brain, stimulating areas associated with presence, clarity, and a sense of unity. Practice in slow cycles, integrating your breath. Inhale as you lift your feet forward. Exhale as you return your feet. It's an inner dance, a subtle command, a code your body desperately recognizes. With the base in motion and the vertical axis activated, we now enter a more subtle zone where movement becomes memory and the body begins to remember what it is. Step 3, the spiral of stillness. The spiral of stillness follows her with outstretched feet flat on the floor. Close your eyes. Focus your attention inward to the center of your foot. Then, without visibly moving your body, imagine a spiral forming in your pelvic floor, as if the center of your sacrum were breathing in a circular motion. This exercise accesses cellular memory. It reorganizes forgotten vibrational patterns and activates deep neurological zones associated with instinct, intuition, and the feeling of energetic security. Perform this exercise for 3 minutes. It doesn't matter if you feel something immediately. The code is read, and the less effort you exert, the more strongly your body reacts. Step 4, rhythmic pulse with breathing. Sit comfortably or rest. Place your hands on your lower abdomen above your pubic bone. As you inhale, slowly expand the area outward. As you exhale, return to the center without pressure. Now introduce a pulse. As you exhale, gently connect with your pelvic floor. As if gently pulling, this micro movement, synchronized with your breath, creates a vibration that travels upward and activates certain autoneuronal circuits connected to perception and your personal energy field. This exercise strengthens the inner ear. You begin to perceive your body not as matter, but as a field. And within this field, everything begins to reorganize itself. When Samuel first felt the ground vibrate beneath his feet, he wasn't in a temple. He was in his room. The lights were off. His body had said goodbye to another day of trying to look good. He wasn't expecting enlightenment. He simply wanted to sleep without the burden on his neck. Something urged him to get up. Without thinking, he played a deep, repetitive rhythm, like the kind you hear from his cat. He began to move his feet slowly and almost intentionally. He wasn't dancing. It was a silent search, born of exhaustion and curiosity. After just a few minutes, he noticed that something was different. His breathing changed. The mental noise fell silent, and instead of confusion, warmth rose within him and moved his throat. He didn't understand it, but he didn't want to stop either. In the days that followed, he returned to the same movement. He added the vertical wave, then the spiral, then the pulsation. He didn't know the names. He didn't know the techniques, but his body seemed to remember everything. Within a short time, fear gave way to presence. Doubt transformed into listening, and the inner silence that once felt empty became pure presence. Samuel didn't go crazy, but he found himself, not through a thought, but through a movement that only the body could perform. The biggest obstacle isn't the technique, but the conditioning. You've been taught that transformation happens from the top down, through the mind, through logic, through understanding. That's why you sometimes doubt it. When you encounter a simple body-based exercise, does it really make a difference? Is that all there is? It doesn't feel deep enough. But this doubt doesn't come from your inner wisdom. It comes from your addiction to complexity. The body doesn't need to be persuaded. It just needs to be heard. And beyond that, many people resist because they're afraid of what they might feel if they move this area. In the pelvis, we store trauma, shame, and memories that the mind cannot access. Awakening the sacrum also means awakening what is stored. The solution is not to avoid it. It's a curse. Start small, 1 minute a day. Let the movement guide you. There's no pressure, no expectations. And remember, your body hasn't forgotten how to heal itself. It just needs space to remember. What has been revealed here is not knowledge that can be banished. It is an invitation that can be felt. For the body in which you live contains codes. Your mind will never perform the decoding on its own. And of all the centers that support your existence, the sacrum is the most overlooked and perhaps the most important. You no longer need to align yourself with the universe. You just have to move at the right pace, in the right place, and with the right attention. In this movement, your vibration changes. In this movement, reality listens. This practice doesn't require blind faith or complex thinking. It requires presence and a willingness to return to the basics, where it all begins. And when you come back, something clicks, something pulses differently. Your body stops being a nightmare and begins to show direction. There's a portal between knowledge and life, and this portal begins where your feet touch the ground and where your sacrum begins to pulsate. As Gaston Bachelard once wrote, the body is the first home of the spirit. Moving the sacrum is more than just an exercise. It's a reactivation. It's the moment when spirituality leaves theory and returns home. If this content bothered you, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This way, you'll help us spread this message and bring true consciousness to those ready to awaken. Write in the comments, when I move my sacrum, my reality responds. This sentence anchors the exercise, confirms the vibration, and activates the field around the writer. Share this video with someone who needs to get out of their head and back into their body. Someone who may be seeking clarity but hasn't yet arrived at where it all begins. Click on the screen and enjoy another transformative video here on the Transcend channel, because when you awaken the foundation, the entire universe finds a new starting point.